Garen was the first to run into the square and see the beginning wisps of smoke trailing up into the warm light of the evening sky from the shuttered windows of the bank. The rain had tapered off significantly, leaving the square now silent, pools of water reflecting the nearby buildings glowing with the orange hue of a setting sun. Thrumley looked at the building and the smoky tendrils and cursed under his breath. "Can the world not remain still so I can retrieve my axe?" Cale sighed. "Agreed, Thrumley," and then examined the useless end of his rapier and shook his head. He was certain the broken tip of his rapier had fallen into the drainage grate and was now sitting at the bottom of the sewer below. The party hastily moved across the square and spied Sal, the halfling, standing in front of the bank. From inside, a sound pierced the crackling fire. Laughter, cruel, defiant, and utterly mad. Sal turned to the party, her voice edged with urgency. "Ronnik knows. Ronnik knows we're coming. He's trying to erase everything. Burn the proof before we get too close. This is it. We have to move now." Welcome to Nosh Solo. And welcome to Chapter 1 and the first episode of Session 3. So I've taken the liberty to restore the shields to both Garen and Thrumley, as well as any other armor or weapons that the party did not bring with them into the tavern. So Thalwyn will have his bow, and Penny will have her bow. Cale here, unfortunately, he doesn't have a serviceable rapier anymore after that last fight. And so he's going into this encounter with probably whatever weapons he can throw. And I think he's got some daggers or knives that he could put to some good use there. Additionally, Sal is not going to enter the bank. As soon as the party begins to look at the entry points, she's going to remove herself from the square before she's spotted with them any further. So we'll jump back into a little bit of role-playing here. Garen barks out to Cale. "Whisper, do you think you can pick the locks on these doors?" Cale moves up to the door and examines it with a few inquiring glances. "Both look rather complicated, but I could give them a try." Thrumley scans the doors and the windows and says, "Damn it, Garen, there isn't time to fiddle with a lock. And the windows, they have bars. Let us bash down these doors, or at least try." And Garen says, "Agreed. Thrumley, you and Thalwyn heave against the door to the left. Penny and I will heave on the door to the right. Cale, be ready to pick this damn lock and the one next to it. At least you can work on the locks if we have to move to the windows." All right, so with that, I'm just going to close out these images of the PCs. We'll leave the image of the bank up. And I'm going to call up Thrumley and go to his abilities tab and go down to the other tab under abilities. And here you'll see I've added an ability, a check for a forced door. So what are we trying to do here in replicating what does forcing a door look like in GURPS? Well, I should say particularly in GURPS Dungeon Fantasy. Okay, well, in order to force a door, and in this particular situation, I'm going to rule that only 2 PCs can work together to force one door each. And forcing a door is going to require a quick contest between the combined strength of the PCs and that of the strength of the hinge of the doors themselves. And there's some things that having 2 PCs will assist with to this end, but there's a few other things. So we're going to look at Thrumley first to kind of explore what those look like. So when I click on the modifiers for the force door check, you'll see here, first of all, that any quick contest of trying to force the door is going to be impeded by the damage resistance of the door hinge itself. And so for these doors, the door hinge has a DR of 5. And so that's going to be a -5 right off the bat to the combined strength that Thrumley will eventually roll against. However, Thrumley also has forced entry as a skill based on dexterity +1, and so that's going to give him a +1 to this roll. Thrumley also has lifting strength 2, which is going to give him a +2 to his strength check. And finally, we have Thelwyn here, who, under the rules, we use 1/5 of his strength, which is 10, rounded up for a +2. So going into trying to force this door, the combined strength of Thrumley and all the benefits here accrued to him with Thelwyn would be 17. But the DR of the door itself is going to drop it back down to 12. So let's see how well Thrumley and Thelwyn shove themselves against this door. Here we go. And they fail. Oh no. Okay, well, in failing, they can try again, but it will be at a further -1, and it'll cost them a fatigue point. And that will be cumulative if they have to try and try again. So in this case, unfortunately, as they were trying to bash that door in and force it, the slick, let's say, moisture on the threshold of this door, perhaps mixed with, who knows, maybe just some LJ growth, or perhaps there was just something on the threshold that they both sort of slipped and weren't able to put their full effort behind it. What about Garen and Penny? So we'll do the same thing over here. Jump down to the other abilities tab. I've got the same check for force door for Garen here. And if we look at the modifiers, well, Penny has a strength of 11, so 1/5 of an 11th strength rounded up would give them a +3, so I'm going to add that. However, that door hinge is at -5, so we got to add that. And so they're going to be basically having the very same value. The door has strength for hinge strength of 10. They have a combined strength check value of 10. Let's see if they can do it. They succeed by 2. All right. So the door gets to try to resist this. And so I'm going to call up the bank as an NPC. And here is the quick contest from the bank's door itself. Let's see who wins. Okay, so the bank door succeeded by 0, but Garen succeeded by 2, or Garen and Company. And so they successfully force their door open. And because they've succeeded, there's no need for Thrumley and for Thelwyn to try to push the issue any further. I'm going to take out this image here, and I'm going to call up a map. So here you can see the characters. They are in front of the door to the bank. And I'm just going to click on Garen. And so what you can see over here is kind of a barred window. Over here is another barred window. They don't see that light flickering at this point, but they're going to see it soon enough. Okay, so that's the characters arrayed outside the bank. Now I'm going to open the door for Garen and for Penny. Okay, so what we see initially is what Garen can see with the fog of war established. And I'm just going to draw this back a little bit. So Garen, just from the door swinging open, can see a small fiery creature here. He can see a burning brazier that is emitting a pulsating light. He can see something on the floor here emitting a pulsating light. And of course, there is smoke that is filling the room. And that's about all he can see. Okay. And I'll share an image of this small fiery creature with you. And there it is. A fiery being. Looks to be not more than maybe 4 feet in height, and appears to be quite capricious. Well, let's see what Penny sees. So Penny can't see what Garen just saw. However, she can almost see something flickering over here. She might think it's a fire. But she does hear Garen mutter the word fire elemental. All right. Now, let's look at Thrumley. Thrumley, he can see something, perhaps a brazier of water or a container of water that's equally lighted. Okay. Théowen can't see a thing. Sister Haleen really can't see anything. Kale, he can see the sigil that's lit or pulsating. And so can Velistra if she kind of peeks around. So we'll go back to Garen. And we're going to go into combat. So I am going to get the combat track up and running. So the first person who can actually act is, in this case, Kale. And Kale simply is like jabbing his head this way and that, asking, what's there? What do you see? So we'll say he's effectively doing nothing, although he's looking. Next is Penny. So Penny has, let's see, she's got a move of 6 because she is unencumbered. So Penny, decides to whip in here. So she goes 1, 2, and when she comes in, she suddenly becomes aware that there is a lot more than just one fire elemental. She suspected maybe this was a fire down here, but no, there's a small fiery creature here, there's one over here, and there's one over here. So she technically goes, 1, 2, 3, and I think we'll go as that far, yeah. Next is Théowen, and Théowen is going to do nothing, except he's kind of seeing that they've forced the door open and Penny's gone inside. Garen, he has a move of, let's see, he's got a move of 4. So Garen is going to go right in. So 1, 2, 3, and as soon as he gets here, he's going to realize, like, oh, yeah. Oh, there's even one down here. Good heavens, I didn't scan the map out large enough. So this bank is partly living quarters and partly office building. And so he also sees another fiery creature down here. Who's next? We've got Sister Haleen. Sister Haleen, she'll do nothing because, again, she's just aware that everyone's now starting to make a move into the building. Thrumley has a move of 4 as well, and he is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then we're going to go to Velistra. And Velistra, she is not keen on just throwing herself into a burning building at this point. So she is going to do nothing. Now, before I take it to the turn of the enemy, I will at least, I think, identify these creatures. and let you know what they are, or let the characters know what they are. So they're small fire elementals. And with that, I'm going to switch to a little showcase of the fire elementals, because there is one other creature here that they don't know about. They cannot see, but I'm going to tell you, there's a water elemental, a small one, on this combat map somewhere as well. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that little video introduction to the antagonists. Before we continue, I'm going to have Thrumley and Garen and Penny roll to see if they can see where this water elemental might be hiding. I'm going to give them a -2 to their rolls for the smoke, but we'll start with Thrumley and see if he can detect that water elemental. So he failed by 3, so no. Let's move on to Garen. Can Garen see? That's a failure as well, so that's a negative. And finally, Penny. Perhaps Penny can spot the water elemental. Success by 0, but didn't beat the water elemental's stealth success by any stretch. Okay, so with that, we're going to go on and see what these fire elementals are doing. So the fire elemental small number 1 is right over here, and it is simply going to move. It's going to move 1 hex, and as it moves off its starting hex, you'll see that there is a fire there. And all of them are simply going to step off by a hex. What they leave behind is a hex on fire. There we go. And this brings us, maybe we have one more. Yes, we do. Down here, we've got this elemental down here. And so he or it will step off. And again, fire can be seen from where it left off. Okay, so that is the end of the first second of combat. And we will go into the second second. Okay, so we come back to Kale at the top of the round. And Kale, he had done nothing as he watched these 3 plow in through the door. At this point, Kale is going to move. And Kale is going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 and come into the room to see what he can see. I will also give him a -2 to a perception check to see if he can spy the water elemental. But he fails in that perception check. Moving right along, we have Penny. So Penny is, well, she had moved this last turn. So on this turn, she is going to start to ready her bow. So that's what she's going to do. And Thalwyn. Thalwyn is going to take a ready maneuver to see if he can't ready his bow instantly using Heroic Archer. So that's going to require 2 rolls. The first roll is his fast draw. So let's see if he can fast draw an arrow. No problem. The next roll is his bow skill at -3. We'll throw the -3 in there. Let's see if he succeeds here. And he succeeds by 2. So he literally could shoot the arrow he's taken from his quiver in the same turn using Heroic Archer. However, all he's going to do is have that bow and arrow ready to go. Okay. So we'll go on to the next actor, who is Garen. Okay, so Garen is going to continue to move. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 in preparation for attacking this fire elemental. Next, we've got Sister Haleen of the Emberlight. So Sister Haleen, she is going to take a ready maneuver. She is going to, she's going to get her mace out and be ready with that. And who do we have next? Thrumley. Okay, so Thrumley, he moved last turn. So this turn, Thrumley is going to ready his Dwarven Axe, and he does not have fast draw or fast ready axe, so he's got to take a turn to ready. And that brings us to Velistra. Velistra, she is going to move. So she's going to go, what has she got for a move score? I think it's like 5 or 6. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and she's going to come in right about here. Okay, and that brings us to Fire Elemental Small number 1. So this Fire Elemental is just standing there and is capriciously laughing and swaying back and forth where it stands, trying to set the carpet and the floor on fire. So I'm going to basically have it do a weight maneuver. And the condition that will break its weight is if someone tries to attack it. If that happens, it is going to move to attack them. So, in fact, all of these fire elementals are simply going to take weight maneuvers as they try to burn more of the floor. So I'm just going to rotate through all of them because they're all completing their weights. And this brings us to the top of the 3rd second of combat. So Kale is going to fast draw a dagger from his the various sheaths that he has them in. Well, either one succeeded, so he readies a dagger instantly, and I think he's going to look at tossing the dagger. Now, the daggers don't have any accuracy bonus for being thrown. He'll target this fire elemental. Oops, that's the wrong person. Here. He'll target this fire elemental, So his toss would be at -2. If he wanted to sort of attack in this very same round that he instantly readied the dagger. And it would be at further -1 because of the size mod of the creature. So he'd be at a -3, and his skill is 12. So he is going to take the aim maneuver. Okay, moving right along, we've got Penny, and Penny continues to ready her short bow. Moving right along, we've got Thalwyn, who has an instantly ready bow arrow. He is going to move into the room. So he goes 1, 2, 3, and I think he'll nestle himself up here in the corner. So that'll be his move. And finally, we've got, let's see, Garen, who is within, well, he can take a step and attack. So that's what he'll do. So in moving forward, this will activate the fire elemental's weight into an attack. And so what's going to happen is the fire elemental, as Garen makes that step to attack, fire elemental is going to move in. Now, this is where I've got to separate these two a bit, but as you know, in GURPS Close Combat, they're both in the same hex. I'm doing this just for practicalities of rolling dice. So, he is going to, or it is going to hit Garen with a fiery blow. It gets a +1 because of the size mod difference between it and Garen. Let's see if it hits Garen. And succeeds by 1. So, Garen can try to defend within the same hex, but I think what he's going to do instead is not try to defend in the same hex that he finds himself with this creature. So Garen is going to do a retreat. He'll take a step back. This will give him a +1 to his block. And if we call up Garen, we'll see and remember that his shield gives him a defensive bonus against hits against his chest. He'll be at +3 for his block. And he succeeds by 4. Okay. With that attack having failed, we move the action back to Garen, who can continue with his attack. Now, he stepped into attack, then he got attacked, then he stepped back. Can Garen step back into an attack? He doesn't have to, because remember, this thing is actually in this hex, and Garen can simply reach it in an attack. So we'll call up Garen again, and here he is. He's going to swing at this thing with his broadsword. It'll be at -1 though, because of the size mod of the smaller fire elemental. So, success by 6. The fire elemental will have a chance to defend. It has a dodge of 7. And let's see here. How well does it do? It fails by 4. Okay, so Garen's blade cuts through the creature. So what we're going to do is have Garen roll his damage of swing, 1d +3 cutting. Ooh, he does as most damage as he possibly can. Now, there's a couple of things to remember, though. The fire elemental has injury tolerance of diffuse. And while it has no DR against cutting attacks of this kind, that diffuse injury tolerance means that only 2 points of damage actually get through. So we'll apply that. We'll also apply the shock of -2 as well. All right, moving right along. We have Sister Haleen of the Emberlight. So Sister Haleen has a whopping move of 3, so she's gonna go 1, 2, 3. Come through the door, and I will give her the same opportunity to potentially see that water elemental with a -2 modifier. And let's see how she does. Here we go. So she fails her perception check. So the water elemental remains a mystery. Okay, so who do we have next? We've got our dwarf Thrumley. Okay, so Thrumley had readied his dwarven axe, and so he is going to do a move and attack on this fire elemental here, number 5. So you'll remember that the fire elementals took weight maneuvers, and if Thrumley does try to attack the fire elemental, it is going to attack first. So Thrumley's going to go 1, 2, 3. And at this point, he can try to do an attack, but the fire elemental is going to go first. So it's going to move into close combat with Thrumley. So again, I'm simply going to move Thrumley a little bit away so I can have easier use of the rolling of the die. Okay, so first of all, let's see if this fire elemental actually hits him with its fiery blow. And it gets a +1 because of the size mod difference between it and Thrumley. And success by 1. So Thrumley is going to have to do a defense. Now, he didn't burn necessarily, well, I guess I had him turn and change facing by 1. So that would be, 1, 2, 3. Or maybe I didn't count his change facing. No, I think I just did 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. So I think by the book, Thrumley here could, with 1 point of movement left, he could still do a retreat to get out of that hex with the fire elemental. And just think of it like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So he charges in there, it closes in on the hex, and he just takes a back step out. So he can add 1 to his block, and he gets the DB for his mail shirt, for his shield DB of +2 because of the attack against him. And he will roll his block, see if he can block this attack. And he succeeds by 2. Okay, so I have to remember that that fire animal small 5 did take an attack and cannot act again when I get to it on the combat tracker. And so it is now Thrumley's turn. So I'm going to move the fire elemental back into this hex where it would have engaged him initially. And we will have Thrumley conclude his move and attack. And that is going to be at a -4. And then he gets a further -1 because of the size mod of the creature. And for a move and attack, this actually puts him right where he needs to be for the target number of 9 or worse while doing a move and attack with a melee weapon. Let's see if he hits. And indeed, he succeeds by 2. So the fire elemental will try to dodge this attack. And fails by 1. So let's do his damage. We know it's going to be 2 points, but let's have him roll the damage all the same. So he ends up doing 6, but again, because of the nature of the injury tolerance, the total amount that gets through is 2. However, we will drop the -2 for shock on the creature. All right, moving right along, we have Velistra, and Velistra had moved into this area. So I'm going to have Velistra continue to move. She wants to take a look at this sigil here. So she is going to go 1, 2, 3, come to about here. And I think at this point, I'm going to have her do a IQ check to see if she can recall whether fire elementals can be affected by the sleep spell. So she succeeds by 2. So she has this vague memory from her teachings that sleep spells do not affect fire elementals. Okay, moving right along. The water elemental remains hidden, waiting, and biding its time. We go to fire elemental small number 1, who was, as you can see, preparing to attack Garen, or had attacked Garen, but it can't attack Garen this turn. Nosh, you remembered. Well done. So in this regard, we're just going to carry on past that fire elemental. And we're going to go to this one down here, who is simply going to continue to stand in place, hoping to burn that carpet or get a fire going. The other fire elemental down here just remains in place. And the other fire elemental down here remains in place. Okay. And that brings us to number 5, who just attacked Thrumley, and he does not get, or it does not get its attack. Which brings us to the top of the 4th second of combat, starting with Kale. So it looks like Kale had aimed on this fire elemental. He now does not want to risk tossing his dagger through Thrumley's hex. Can you take a step while aiming in GURPS 4th edition? Why, yes, you can. You can take a step, of course, unless you're bracing a weapon. So Kale is going to take a step, and he'll continue to aim on the elemental, but I think he does not want to risk tossing this through the occupied hex that Thrumley's occupying. Okay, let's carry on here. We've got Penny. So Penny has completely finished readying her bow and her arrow. So she is going to move. She's going to go 1, 2, 3. And I think she'll even move up here in front of this stove. So that's what she will do. Thalwyn. Now, Thalwyn has a ready arrow. He moved into this position. I think Thalwyn is going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think he's going to want to take a shot at this elemental down here. Moving right along, we've got Garen. So Garen had attacked last turn, and Garen is jolly well going to attack again this turn. So let's call him up. And again, he's going to be at a -1 to attack the fire elemental. And he succeeds by 0. So the fire elemental will, let's see. Fire elemental is going to try to dodge. Shall it? Or shall it try something else? I think it's going to activate its warp ability. Now, it's going to give itself a little bit of help. It is going to, first of all, burn 3 fatigue points. And that's going to give it a +3 on its modifier to activate warp as a form of dodging. And it has to, if it succeeds in this roll, it gets to move to anywhere within 10 hexes or less that it can see. So let's see if it actually successfully, quote unquote, dodges by warping. And it does. Success by 13. Holy smokes. Okay. So it blinks out from in front of Garen. And where does it go? It's going to go right behind Velistra. So that's where it blinks to. Okay. Let's carry on. Sister Haleen of the Emberlight. Well, she is going to go 1, 2, 3, and she's going to take a swipe at this fire elemental who's just happened to present itself as a great target. Awesome. So we'll call up Sister Haleen, and let's see what she can do combat-wise with her mace. So she succeeds by 4. Let's see if this thing can dodge. I tell you, the rough life of a fire elemental. First, you successfully dodge one blow only to get hit by another blow. All right, well, it's not going to try and warp twice, so it's just going to take an ordinary dodge here. And it fails. And so let's see how much damage Sister Haleen does. It's kind of immaterial, but I'm always interested. So she could have done 6 points of crushing damage, but again, because of that injury tolerance, she's going to simply do 2 points of damage. So we'll add that, and we will also add the 2 points for shock here as well. Moving right along, we have back to Thrumley. The action goes back to Thrumley. Okay, so we'll call up Thrumley here. He will make another attack. This will be at -1. And in doing this, what he's going to do is attack, and then he's going to step back. So let's see if he hits. Success by 6, and then he's going to retreat by a hex, so he's going to take a step back. Okay, so Fire Elemental Small 5. Let's see. Going to try to do a, let's see. He's going to try and do the same thing. He's going to burn 3 fatigue points. Okay. And see if he can dodge using his warp ability. And success by 8. So he is going to blink out, and he is going to go, let's see, right behind Kaelwyn. All right, that's what he does. Okay, who is next? We've got Velistra. So Velistra, she had moved, realized these things don't succumb to sleep. So she is going to move further to investigate this, this sigil. So she takes a step, and that is going to trigger the water elemental. So it's been waiting just for this moment. So we'll call up Velistra here. So the water elemental is, and I'm going to reveal it now as it reveals itself by attacking. Let's see if I can do that. So it's right there. Now I think you can see it on your screen. And it's just biding its time. It was kind of pressed up against the wall. Well, what it's going to do is fire a water blast at Velistra. This water blast is like a water cannon. It's a melee attack, and there's no range that I have to roll here. And because it's a melee attack and this thing does not worry about having to defend itself, it's going to do an all-out attack with this water blast. And basically what you see is this sort of this jet of water come out from the water elemental. This cannon of water just crosses the floor and is going to hit, maybe hit Velistra. So let's see if indeed the water elemental hits her. So, indeed, made the roll by 3. Now, in fact, it made it by more because, of course, the range was calculated in here, I think. So, yeah, it should have been rolling by 11 plus 4, not plus 1. So it did even better than what you see here. Okay, so I'm going to rule that Velistra did not see this coming at all, and she's not going to get a chance to dodge it. So this thing does 4d crushing damage. However, it does no wounding, but what it does do is double knockback. So we're going to roll the 4d crushing on her. And so it did 16 points of crushing damage. Okay, so that's used to determine knockback. And in order to determine knockback, you take a character's strength, you reduce it by 2. And for every multiple of, I believe, 8, it is knocked back that many yards. So in effect, I believe she will have been knocked back 2 yards on this sort of trajectory from the force of this blow. So I'm going to remove, well, actually I'm not. I'm going to extend this by, let's see here. I said 2 hexes. So that's 1. Oh, it's double knockback. Ha ha ha, double knockback. Not not single knockback, double knockback. So Velistra is knocked back not 2, but 4 yards. So let's see where this would knock her back. So this would be 1, 2, like 3. I want to almost say back to here, if I'm not mistaken. So we would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So if I was just to push her back like this, she would go through the fire elemental, possibly hitting Velistra or the cleric to land in this hex, sort of like here. Okay, so now, how do we determine whether or not she hit this fire elemental or Sister Haleen? And she gets to roll versus dexterity to stay upright, but I believe there's a modifier to that, maybe like a -3. Yes, it's basically -1 after the first yard of knockback. So she would knock back 4 yards. I think she'd be at -3 to stay upright. So I'm going to first do that. I'm going to put down the -3 and let's do a dex check for her. So she failed by 1. So she is going to end up being prone in this hex if hitting, say, Sister Haleen doesn't stop her. She should pass right through the fire elemental. But I am going to check to see if she hits the fire elemental. I think what I'll do to determine that is basically have her roll 3d6, and on a 9 or less, she hits the fire elemental. If she doesn't, now that's not going to stop her, in my opinion, but it will burn her. She's going to carry on, and she'll hit Sister Haleen on a 9 or less, and then land here on her butt. So, first of all, we're going to do a roll to see if she hits the fire elemental on a roll of 9 or less. So she rolled an 11. So she misses the fire elemental. So that's good. She won't get burned by that thing. Let's see if she hits the cleric. And she rolled over a 9 on that. So miraculously, as she's blown past these two characters, she falls on her backside here. And I'm going to remove this pointer, and we'll put the prone on her. Fascinating, eh? Now, because Velistra was not only knocked back, but knocked down, she is going to have to make a will -3 check. Oh, no, sorry, my bad. She wasn't concentrating on any spell at the time, was she? She was just curiously checking out. Had she been concentrating on a spell, she would have had to roll a will -3 to maintain her concentration. So, anyway, that's all right. I don't think I'm going to roll for any damage at this point, to be honest. She fell back. I mean, maybe she would take a point of injury, but I don't really know that I want to. I mean, she falls to the floor, so I'm just going to play it to easy and not worry about rolling for that based on, velocity, etc., etc. You number wonks, if you want to crunch that out, you're more than welcome to do so, but I'd rather just keep playing. Okay, so Velistra, yeah, she had started to move, and that's when the water elemental did its thing, and so the water elemental has acted, so we are going to skip right over it. And we'll carry on with Fire Elemental Small 1. So this is the one that had kind of popped in behind Velistra, only to have Penny attack it. So what it's going to do is it is going to, I think, move into close combat with Penny. So it's simply going to go into this hex. And again, I will separate them a little bit just for ease of rolls. Okay, so it moves into close combat with Penny. All right. So what does Penny have for armor? She's got heavy leather on the torso, on the skirt. And she's got heavy leather, I think, combined the heavy leather with her skirt on her groin area. So the fire elemental, let's see. I think the fire elemental is going to try to attack her. It'll just do a normal attack against the torso. So it's going to be at +1 on its attack for the size mod difference. And let's see if it hits her. And indeed it does, succeeds by 3. So, Sister Haleen is going to take a step away. I'll move that fire elemental now into this hex. So she's going to basically do she's going to do a step and dodge. Step and dodge? No, a retreat and block. Retreat and block. So that's going to give her a +1 to her block. And she gets a +2 because of her shield's defensive bonus on the torso. So let's see if she blocks this. And she succeeds by 7. Okay, good job. Oh, hello. For some reason, that thing still had a shock on it, but that can't be because simply be. Oh, yes, it does, because she had hit. So, you know what? Doesn't matter. It would have, let's see, succeeded by 3. Even with a -2, it would have succeeded by 1. So, anyway, it doesn't matter. All is well. An attack did land, and a dodge did, or sorry, a block did happen. So, we're going to carry on down the line here. Okay, so we've got Fire Elemental 2 here, who's just hanging out. And we've got Fire Elemental Small 3, who I believe is right here, hanging out. And that takes us to Fire Elemental 4, who is down here, hanging out. And that brings us to number 5, who had gone sort of behind Kale, if you remember. So what it's going to do is, with Velistra on the floor, it is simply now going to take a step and attack. And it's simply going to, let's see, it's going to move into the hex with Velistra. So I'm going to zoom in here. I've already zoomed in there. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just going to separate these two a little bit. So again, I can get a little bit of a better tack on rolls. Okay, so it moves into close combat. She is on the ground, so it is going to do an all-out attack on Velistra on the ground. And I'm just going to check to see that there aren't any special mods that I have to be aware of. I don't think there are when you're doing a attack to somebody on the ground. No, I don't believe there's anything in terms of modifiers for attacking someone on the ground. There is certainly for defending if you're prone. So this creature is going to, again, do a all-out attack at +4. And let's see if it hits Velistra. Success by 7. Okay, so it moves in on Velistra's torso, basically. And let's see if Velistra can defend successfully. So Velistra has... Okay, so she's got this staff to parry a magical unarmed attack. And she's in close combat with the staff. This bears some investigation. Velistra is in a bit of a bind. She's prone. She can't parry an attack in close combat. She can dodge. She could add sort of a dodge and retreat if she could roll away, i.e. 1 hex away from this thing. And I suppose she could roll like this way. Yeah. I mean, if she's kind of on her back, right? I don't know that she could roll this way. She sure as heck doesn't want to roll this way. So I think if we were ruling that she was like on her back, she could roll this way. Now, that would give her a +3 to her dodge for a dodge and retreat, but she's on her back or on prone, which takes away 3 from her defense roll for a net of 0. So, dodge it is with what she's got. Now, she could spend some fatigue to make a feverish defense, could she not? That's another option for her. So yes, she'll burn a point of fatigue. She will get a +2 on her for the feverish defense on top of her dodge roll. Let's see how she does. And she fails by 2. Okay, so she does roll out of the way, but this thing does manage to hit her as she's rolling out of the way. So What damage does this fire elemental do to her? Let's find out. It's not only a fiery blow, it's also the halo of flame that will be attacking or hurting her. So here we go. So she takes, let's see, 4 in the end, 4 points of burning damage. Okay, so let's see. I don't think Velistra has any DR. No, she doesn't. So the fiery blow and the halo of flame, 2d minus 4. So that was 8 with the minus 4. So yeah, she takes 4 points of burning damage. All right. So let's see here. Yep, I'm going to apply that. Okay. So that takes Velistra down to half her health. Is she partially on fire or fully on fire? I think any blow that does at least 3 points of damage puts the target partially on fire. So indeed, Velistra is partially on fire as well. And she'll be in shock at minus 4 for the damage she's taken. So this fire elemental has done a number on poor Velistra. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that was the fire elemental's turn. Good heavens. Who's next? Oh, we're at the top of the turn, and this is the beginning of the 5th turn of combat. And we turn to Kale.